There was once a man named Aron, not a hero, not famous, just ordinary. But like many of us, he had a dream, one that everyone around him called impossible. He wanted to build something of his own, something that mattered, not for fame, not for money, but to prove to himself that he could create something meaningful, that his life could mean more than just a daily routine. Every morning he'd wake up before sunrise, while the rest of the world still slept, and sit by his small wooden desk, working on his idea. It wasn't perfect. He wasn't skilled enough, and nothing ever seemed to go right, but he kept showing up, again and again. Days turned into months, and months into years. He faced rejection after rejection. Doors closed before he could even knock. People laughed at him, friends stopped calling, even his own family started to lose faith. They said, "Aron, maybe it's time to move on." They said, "Maybe life's trying to tell you something." And maybe they were right, because Aron began to doubt himself. He started to wonder if all this effort was for nothing. He felt the weight of failure pressing on his chest every night. The silence in his small room was louder than any noise he'd ever known. He thought about quitting, but one morning, something changed. He woke up before dawn again, and instead of asking, "Can I do this?" he whispered 3 words that would change his life forever. Do it anyway. He was tired. He was broke. He was uncertain. But he decided if he failed 1,000 times, he'd fail doing something that mattered. So he got up, made coffee, and began again. Not with excitement, but with quiet determination. He worked harder. He worked smarter. He learned from every mistake. He stayed quiet when others mocked him and smiled when they doubted him, because he knew something they didn't, that success doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers in your heart. Keep going. Years passed, and one evening, while the sun set behind his cracked window, his idea finally came to life. The same idea everyone laughed at, the same dream that looked ridiculous, the same passion that made him an outsider. It worked. He didn't shout. He didn't celebrate. He just sat there quietly, watching the glow of his creation. And he whispered to himself, "I did it anyway." Because deep down, he knew the battle wasn't against the world. It was against his own doubt. But this isn't just Aron's story. It's your story too. Because every one of us has faced that same voice that says, "You can't. You shouldn't. You'll never make it." Maybe you're facing it right now. Maybe people around you don't understand your dream. Maybe your progress is invisible. Maybe every time you take 1 step forward, life pushes you 2 steps back. But that doesn't mean you're failing. Here's the truth no one tells you. The ones who change the world, the ones who build, create, and inspire, aren't the ones who always believed in themselves. They're the ones who acted even when belief was gone. They did it anyway, even when everything in them screamed, "Stop." When you don't feel motivated, do it anyway. When you don't see progress, do it anyway. When no one supports you, do it anyway. Because greatness isn't born in comfort. It's built in the darkness. When no one is watching. When your hands are trembling and your heart is tired. That's where real growth happens. Not in success, but in resilience. In showing up one more time when you have nothing left to give. Life will test you. It will break your plans. It will throw storms your way, just to see if you still have the courage to stand. But the ones who rise, they aren't the smartest. They aren't the richest. They aren't the luckiest. They're the ones who simply refuse to give up. The ones who keep walking even when the path disappears. The ones who say, "I'll try again tomorrow." So when your mind says, "I can't," and your heart whispers, "I'm tired," look in the mirror and remind yourself, do it anyway. Because one day, years from now, you'll look back and realize the moments you pushed through pain were the ones that built your strength. You'll remember the nights you cried, the mornings you doubted, the failures that almost broke you, and you'll smile. Because those moments weren't your end. They were your becoming. Every scar, every setback was shaping the person you were meant to be. So whatever your dream is, keep going. Whatever mountain you're climbing, keep walking. Even if no one believes in you, don't stop. Even if you've failed again and again, even if it hurts more than it should, even if everything feels unfair, keep moving. Because one day, when your story is told and people ask how you made it through, you'll smile and say, I just did it anyway. Remember this. The world doesn't reward those who almost tried. It remembers those who kept going, even when no one believed in them. So don't wait for perfect. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for someone to tell you you're ready. You'll never feel ready, and that's okay. Start scared, start small, start imperfect, just start. Because someday soon you'll look back at this moment, and you'll thank yourself for having the courage to begin when everything inside you said, wait. So whatever your dream is, whatever your struggle is, remember these 3 simple words. Do it anyway. Because your future self is waiting for you. Okay, friend? See you in next video.